Y'all, it's Fro, and I'm back again reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 8, Episode 7. Before Stormi leaves the party, she and Courtney clarify with Marsau that the invitation to her event was not intended to be malicious. Tisha says she RSVP'd, which made this whole conversation a waste of time. I know they went back and forth a little at the reunion, but I don't know that Stormi said anything to warrant Tisha's pill comment.
Go pop some pills, girl, and shut up. That's what you do. Oh.
Nell and Tisha have a one-on-one, and Tisha tells Nell her feelings were hurt that Nell didn't call her a friend. After watching Mel's live about mommy issues, I think that some of that could apply to Tisha's behavior with some of the cast. Now, I'm not sure who Mel was referring to, but at times it seems Tisha expects a lot from her friends and is more suspicious of them than necessary. Nell tells Tisha to communicate with her immediately when she has an issue, rather than wait months later. It's starting to feel like Tisha is coming up with beefs for storyline, because that could have been something they addressed off camera a long time ago. Yet she acted like the comment she made about Stormi wasn't worth the conversation. And I think that's because she meant exactly what I think she meant.
I ain't gonna lie, like I've told my story a million times. Like I was suicidal in college. I wanted to kill myself. I was actually gonna do it, and I was just getting depressed about the unknown and how much time I wasted, to still not know what I'm gonna do. So I was just gonna do it. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna take all these pills. I'm not gonna fucking up tomorrow.
Chris, Courtney, and Martell meet up to play catch. Martell felt like Nell chose a side by not inviting him to her birthday party. He doesn't feel like he and Melody would have had any issues because they have been around each other before the arrest without any issues. He goes on to say that Melody isn't a true friend and they're going to find out that they're choosing the wrong side. In so many words, he's telling everyone not to be friends with Melody. Chris knows better and clarifies that Melody and Martell have not been in the same space since the arrest, which gives him and Nell reason to believe they are not in a good place at the moment. Martell still being on the show must be for the hope that he'll get to be around Melody. Why would you want to be around someone who had you arrested for nothing and you're telling everyone not to be friends with? Martell talks about being hesitant to model at Stormi's event because he's not as fit as he'd like to be, but he thinks that working with Trish could potentially get him in a good light. I know what that means, but I'm not sure if that is what he really intended to say. I think he might have meant that she may be able to help get his body right. It didn't really make sense to me there, so I think he was just trying to sound smart. Tisha tells Marsau she's worried that working with Kimmy and Maurice may ruin her friendship with Kimmy, but Marsau assures her it's not anything to worry about. Marsau lets Tisha know her behavior at Nell's party makes her look bad, and Tisha feels like Marsau doesn't need to keep calling her out about everything because she feels embarrassed. It sounds like she doesn't want him to address it on camera. She's starting to act more like her mom, if I'm being honest, so I think with the alcohol, she just wasn't able to stay calm and reserved like Marsau expects her to, and was being more of herself. Mel and Stormi have dinner, and Stormi says she felt Tisha was being childish at Nell's party, and Stormi also warns Mel that Martell is going to be a model at her Lovers and Friends event, and Mel tells Stormi she won't be at her event.
I enjoy making Tricia smile. She doesn't smile often.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Trish trains Martell, and their exchange is very awkward, and I was left wondering if they really do have a hidden past together. She was smiling from ear to ear the entire scene. Martell asks Trish if she's ever been to any of Marsau's late night parties he used to have for women when he worked at the movie theater, and when she says no, he said he was glad because Marsau would have had her too if she had been. He seems to be implying that Marsau was cheating on Tisha.
When your husband's at the bar late at night, coming home at 5, 6 in the morning, you might want to roll up, get them kids to a babysitter, and roll up to the bar, honey. Roll up to the bar.
They continue talking, and Martell asks Trish if she's the kind of girl that would be mean to guys when she was in school, which seemed to imply he didn't really know Trish growing up. In his confessional, Martell says Chris almost introduced him to Trish. I'm guessing that means he was trying to set him up on a date with Trish. He wouldn't elaborate on what Chris had mentioned to him when he was talking to Trish, and she seemed really excited about the idea that they were talking about her for some reason. Trish tells Martell that Melody was grilling her at Nell's party. We may have missed a lot of the conversation between them at the party due to editing, but it didn't seem like she was being grilled. She shared that she was still married with the group, and they asked her normal questions that a lot of people would have been curious to know. Trish asked Martell if he's going to remember her the next time they see each other, and he says he didn't recognize her at first, but he remembers her. We're still not very clear on how they know each other because Martell made it seem like they were supposed to go on a date, and Trish has made it seem like they knew each other from school. This workout session seemed more like a first date. In her interview with Dustin, she mentioned that Martell asked to train with her before, so Martell has been interested in the past, but they didn't end up going any further than friends. She said he didn't want to say too much about their interaction, and that must be because he was dating and still married around that time, which was 2020 according to Trish. Melody sits down with Marsau to address his comments regarding Martell's arrest. He tells her that the news anchor is a close personal friend who thought he was arrested instead of Martell. This conversation is going to continue on the next episode.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
In the next episode, Marsau and Tisha express their grief with the millimeters, and some enemies show up to the Lovers and Friends event. Let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll be back next week to review episode 8.